I think one of the very first experiences when I arrived in February '73 was a lunchtime talk by Martin Francis on the glass wall of Willis Faber, which was an incredibly pioneering piece of technological and design work. And I was completely overwhelmed. It was an extraordinary lunch. And I really felt inspired by that and was so excited at the opportunity of working with Norman. Perhaps in those days I didn't realize that however many years later, 45 years later, 46 years later, I would still be working with Norman. And I've loved every minute of it. It's been an incredible experience. It was quite an unusual building type. And I don't think anybody quite knew how children with handicaps would respond to the building, and so one tried to keep it quite loose. But that was experimenting very much not only with sort of the loose fit, the loose space, but also with the expression of the services, and the ventilation system, the ducts were expressed at the apex of each of the 5 bays. And the use of colour. It's one of the most colourful buildings the office has ever done. This was really the first time that the office had committed to and worked on a sort of serious overseas project. But my God, it was a serious project. It wasn't starting small, it was starting very big with a huge international banking company in a place that we didn't know. And that was quite a challenge. The project, the structure is inboard on the site, and the side wings are cantilevered out because we kept the existing little building was under the cantilever, and we were able to keep that building all the way through construction. They'd been told by the Feng Shui experts that the banking should not leave the site. That would not be good for them. They must keep the banking a presence on the site. So it was one of the contributory factors to the design of the building. To actually have him in the office, I think, was an extraordinarily positive addition to the office culture. And I think that's continued in the office, how important it is to bring people from outside into the office. If you just sit on your own as a group of people, you can become inward-looking and insular, and you need external stimulus. You know, and the work that we do, and particularly Norman does, with artists and sculptors and so on, I think all that is nothing but good. Bucky was perhaps the top in that. Those sorts of projects do not happen many times in your life. It was a tremendous challenge because, for various reasons, they had a big vision and they wanted a really world-class concert hall. And the other great thing about that project was the team that ran the project after it was finished were there when we arrived as architects. So the continuity of the thinking, which is so important in a building, went right the way through and way beyond, because the key guy stayed for 10 years after it opened. So all the thinking that we'd all put collectively into the project was actually realised when it came to be used. I think there was a tremendous sort of pioneering spirit in those days. I mean, the office, particularly with Willis Faber, was beginning to do bigger projects. And that sort of energy and dynamism was very important, and the whole approach, I think, of the design ethos, which I think very much continues today. I think there's been a very strong thread of continuity of thinking. I think we have a huge responsibility in terms of the environment and sustainability, and we have to lead the way. And that's not easy. That's not easy.